Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, we got NVIDIA earnings in and one other earnings as well. And it was a sector I was waiting on to report, and I wanted to see how it went and stuff. And I'm going to need your help finding out, trying to research a little bit to try to look ahead of what we might be seeing. Okay. And I wanted to really look at this one stock, actually two stocks in particular, in this sector, right? To see what they were going to report, to see if they were going to report a slowdown, which was going along with something else that was slowing down, which could tell us, like, oh boy, on the horizon, something might not be good here down over the next few months, okay? And so I wanted to talk about that. We'll go into detail on NVIDIA and this one company as well. And also something NVIDIA announced, which everybody was waiting on. And I can already tell you, the FUD's going to come out and say, oh, it's going to crash now because of that. I'm going to show you, okay? We'll look at Tesla to show you why that's not the case, okay? There's something that's way more important than that when it comes to this, okay? Now, also, I want to show you the Fed minutes, right? So the Fed minutes, I'm going to put this out in 2 seconds. The Fed minutes came out. The market dropped on Fed minutes. Why? Because all of a sudden, wow, there's more officials that may want to hike rates if necessary. We know they won't. But again, that's what happened. No duh. That's what came out. So the market sold off. And now that we've gotten past that, NVIDIA. Okay, obviously they crushed sales once again. AI boom still on for them. But more importantly, what they announced, the stock split, 10 for 1. More than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking maybe 5, 7, 10 to 1. Again, I have to wait and figure out what the date's going to be. I'm sure they'll let us know on that. Usually it's a couple months out because they have to get shareholder approval and everything else. But you can see the numbers. I mean, 26 billion. I'm going to show you something that I post in our Discord is way more detailed than this. But obviously, it wasn't even close. It wasn't like they were going, oh, we barely made it. No. They crushed it. The guidance looks really good, especially in one particular area we're going to talk about, and you'll hear from the CEO on that. The net income, my goodness. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due, $14.88 billion. And when you see the margins, and what I'm going to show you is it's incredible. Now, what this is, remember, you have to have ETH on to see what's going on behind the scenes. And this is what you call an FU candle. Let me get my little drawing mechanism here. This is the FU candle to people who bought calls and premiums. Remember, if you don't reach your expected move because the IV is so high, normally your options get crushed. So you'll wake up next day and you go, I said it was going to go up, and you were right. But the problem was it needed to go up like 7.25% or whatever the number was by the time we got to earnings. It was 10% starting the week, but I think it got lowered, right? And so that's what this is, because the first started to go down, people were like, oh no, it's going down. And I was actually really happy. I was like, great, I'll buy more, even cheaper. But then, of course, it sucked up very quickly. That was the initial candle. And it sucked up here and then sucked back down. So we'll see on the call if that drives up even more. I think they start talking. Actually, they're talking now as I'm recording this. So, again, we'll see what they have to say. And so that's what that is. But when we pull out, you can see actually my plan was simple. I just had some trend lines I had drew last night with measurements, with confluence, and I was hoping we would hit one of these trend lines, and I would have my buy order in and just waiting to go. But of course, that did not happen. Had the moving averages pulled up. Just see where there's a lot of confluence, because this is what we've seen on a lot of earnings. This earnings, as you've seen, you saw it with PanW just not a couple of days ago, right? And you've seen it with so many others. They'll come down, hit a trend line, which also leads into support or moving average, and then suck right back up. Now, understand this stock split thing. Here's Tesla. Remember when Tesla reported a stock split and it crashed 29%? Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. That means stock splits, the stock must crash, right? Well, let's go to the next one. Let's see, we move over here, and remember that date. That's September 2020, okay? Now, I looked at the chart so many times, immediately I knew what that was, but I'm going to show you. Now, here's another stock split. Oh my goodness, August 2022. I remember something going on in 2022. What was going on in 2022? I'm pretty sure the market was crashing, but once again, they give you a stock split, right? And so you're like, all right, great. Oh my God, crashes down 11%. And then, of course, proceeds to just absolutely go all the way down to $101 after that. So that must be what NVIDIA is going to do. No, that's not how it works. Understand, it depends more about what's going on in the market. Walmart just did a stock split, right? And they went down a little bit. Usually get a little minor pullback after the split. And so that's what normally happens. But look what happened. The market was down 10% when Tesla did its first stock split right there. And then what was going on in 2022? The whole market was crashing, right? And so it depends on more what's going on in the market, not the stock in particular. Yes, a normal pullback, a pullback is normal, okay, when after the split happens, but not a crash unless the market is crashing. And if we go to our Discord, you can see these earnings. This shows right here. I like this one because I pay for this service for our members. This actually shows the margins and everything else kind of detailed, right, with the income statement. And you can see, look at this right here, data center. Oh my goodness. Right, 22.6 billion, 23% quarter over quarter. And what's amazing to me, you see the other segments, I mean, they're peanuts, right? But amazes me is the margins. Like I said, I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. Gross profit margin 78%, operating profit 65%, net profit 57%. And we really dig in deep. I mean, you can see this data center income. It's an amazing jump, man. I mean, goodness, look at right here, the projections, the actual income. I mean, that's incredible. How much they have increased this. I mean, holy moly. And of course, you see the rest of it, gaming, things of that nature. Again, peanuts compared to the data center revenue. And of course, you know, what the CEO say about the data center revenue? What has everybody been talking about when it comes to the data center revenue? Why are electric utility companies going through the roof? And it's because these data centers supposedly trying to power them. But here's what the CEO had to say about it.
You know that we have reinvented computing for the first time since the IBM System 360, 60 years ago. There's $1 trillion worth of data center infrastructure installed in the world based on that old method of doing computation. Now we have accelerated computing, and we have the killer app for accelerated computing called generative AI.
And of course, let's just take a poll, right? If they do a 10-for-1 stock split, let's say the stock's at 1,000 to make the math easy. That means it goes down to $100. Would you be in? If you don't own it now, would you be in at that point in time, right? And it's a psychological thing. People see it and they go, oh, I'm getting more bang for my buck. No, you're not, right? You're not, that's not happening. But it's psychological when you see it go from you buy $1,000 stock versus 100, and you can guarantee, you know, it's like Walmart. What's happening to Walmart? That stock has just gone up, right? And it just usually happens. Tesla, every time I did a stock split, what happened? It kept running back up. And people are like, oh my God, how high can it go, right? Because most people don't look at market cap and stuff like that. And so, again, what's going to happen? People are going to flood into it. And why not? Because it's the AI king. Like, nobody else's earnings even come close to what they've continued to report, right? And so, you know, and I always say this, if the numbers are true, it's awesome. If not, down the road somewhere there's some funny accounting taking place, then maybe it's the next Enron, who knows? But, you know, again, we'll see. It's just funny when those numbers are so outlandish, you start to kind of go, oh my goodness. But again, you have to go off what was reported, okay? So now, the next one, all right, this is the one I was waiting on. I was waiting for ELF to report, right? And this is the beauty supply sector. Now, again, earnings weren't bad. They just weren't what you see the Wall Street wants, right? I mean, $1 billion for the first time, right? Growing sales by 77%. You know, they blew the Wall Street estimates away. That's great. But when it comes to what happened when they do the forward guidance, that's the problem, right? And what I was waiting to see is, does their CEO talk about a slowdown? And you can see right there, the eye-lit face company known for its viral marketing and prowess and winning over young consumers issued guidance that came in lower than analysts had forecast, and the CEO had warned, right, about a slowdown. You can look at the numbers if you want to, and actually, as far as I'm concerned, they were really, really good numbers, right? They didn't even come close to not beating what was out there and stuff. But again, the bar has been put so high, right, for this one right here, and all these beauty companies and stuff. But the CEO had been warning, right, about saying, hey, I don't think we're going to be able to meet your expectations. And yes, this sector in general is slowing down, right? So that is a key thing to look at and stuff. And especially, you know, you got to compete with Walmart and all these lower price products and stuff. But again, its guidance reflects that sentiment. But even so, the company expects to grow at a slower pace than Wall Street anticipated, okay? And don't forget, it wasn't just ELF. It's last month's Ulta Beauty CEO Kimball threw cold water on the red hot beauty category when he warned that demand for cosmetics was cooling, right? And this is another one that slowed down. And when you look, and even JP Morgan came out and said the same thing, right? We have seen a slowdown in the total category. And when you look over here at ELF, I mean, this right here, been on a crazy tear, by the way. I mean, crazy tear. And when it bottomed in 2022, up almost 1,000%. Like, I mean, that's amazing. It's not a semiconductor. It's a freaking beauty stock. I'll show you why it moves like this, why Ulta moves like this as well, right? But again, this trend line, when it came down, started forming, and it came back down. It tested a couple times, finally broke through. Now that will be resistance, and it's down roughly, I mean, it's down over 30%. So this thing's been hit hard as the market has been moving up, right? And you pull up Ulta, you see the exact same thing. It's down about 33%, if I'm not mistaken. And so again, broke a key support line, trend line, boom, down it goes. Now, the reason why, as a side note, these move like this, because a lot of people don't realize ELF, it trades on the Russell 2000. This thing only has 53 million shares outstanding, all right? So that's why this thing can fly, all right? We've seen many of these do this. Ulta, which surprises me, believe it or not, it trades on the S&P. But I was stunned. I did not know that shares outstanding were 48 million. It's less than ELF. I was stunned by that, right? And so these two can fly. I mean, they move, and they crash, right? Now, before I ask for your help, the reason why I want to look at this is because we know as the Dow has been setting, new highs and the Qs, all-time highs, all this stuff, you see Dow Jones Transportation, right? This is more of a leading type indicator. You can look for this one. As everything else set new highs since, what was that, December 23? Now 5 months, it wasn't setting new highs, right? Matter of fact, it broke down through this trend line, came up, got rejected again. Now, what I'm looking for, I told you the other day, if this continues to sell down, it's like a warning sign because this is the backbone of the country. This is how we get everything around is transports, right? Now, we could just get a rip back up. We thought we had this going on from June to October of 2023, and then it just ripped higher. But again, now you got this sector, which is looking weaker. You're sitting there, listening to the beauty product sector. There's looking weaker, right? And you can see what I'm talking about. And those are recessions, the little shaded areas. Usually the transportation are going to sell off first. They're going to start going down first, trying to issue a warning saying, hey, not looking good. Okay, and that can go on for months, mind you. Okay, but I'm just making a list and checking it twice. What sectors are selling off? Is this a reason to be concerned over the next few months, whatever, 6 months, year, whatever it is? Okay, but that's why I'm looking at that. And again, I can't look at Ulta or ELF because I don't think anyone's really been around long enough. In 2020, I mean, we shut down the world, so I'm not going to look at that either. And so that's really the problem. So what I wanted to ask from you, though, was if you are a woman, because to me, there's certain things like I'm just not going to cut out, right? Peanut butter, chocolate ice cream, not getting cut out. If I cut out, I only watch one sport, football. If I cut NFL Sunday Ticket out, my family knows we're in trouble, right? I've never cut that out. I've never cut my ice cream out. There's certain things, right, that people will not give up unless they're in a bad situation or they're looking going, we need to cut back. And so to me, when it comes to makeup and women, it's like, are you just buying the same amount of makeup but you're going to Walmart or somewhere else, right? Or is you actually cutting back? Are you cutting back? And so if you're a woman, please answer that. Or if you're married or have a girlfriend or whatever, or if you're a dude who wears makeup, that's fine. No judgment here. I want to know, right? I mean, seriously, is there a cutback going on because things are slowing down? You're trying to penny pinch now and save and put back because, maybe you lost your job. Maybe you see yourself losing your job, whatever's going on at your workplace. That's what I want to know. That's real research. You see it full time. So I'll look in or see it real time. So I'll look in the comments for that. I really appreciate it if you'd help us out with that and I can share the results with you and stuff. Now, one other thing before we talk about earnings for tomorrow, again, I'm not going to go a lot into these charts because what I tell you, here's the Qs. Still sitting at that midline, right? 4 times now. It's bumped up against it. Set an all-time high again today. It keeps inching up on these all-time highs, but it cannot break through. And the key is, let me get rid of all these arrows and stuff. What I want to look for is the weekly candle, right? If we do open up big tomorrow, if NVIDIA runs, it's going to take the rest of the semiconductors with it, right? If that happens, obviously tech's going to run, and it's going to push this weekly candle through that midline right there and close and hopefully close above it. If that happens, you see that's that candle right there. That's the exact same thing. What happened when that closed above it? All of a sudden, just kept moving up. Now it became support once it retested it. All right, so that's the thing. Close above it, retest it, bounce and go. All right, if that's what happens. Bears want this to get rejected, close on the weekly below it, try to act as resistance, and maybe get the sell-off. Okay, so that's the two stories on that one. Now, obviously, more retailers tomorrow. We're getting mixed bags. Obviously, Target reported garbage earnings and got sold off. Then you have Ralph Lauren tomorrow, BJ's, Deckers, Ross's. Okay, you also have Intuit, which is not a retailer or anything, but that'll be reporting. And you will have news in the morning with the unemployment claims, flash manufacturing PMI, and flash services PMI, and then new home sales because existing home sales were just horrific. And is that any kind of shock? Absolutely not. When you're paying these kind of interest rates, no, it's not. So, and these kind of prices, not on top of it. So no surprise there at all. So we'll see if new home sales are any better, and plus the PMI and stuff. And the market will react off that. But the biggest is going to be, do semiconductors roar tomorrow? And if they do, get out of the way. The market's going to go higher. That's just the way it's been. Okay, it's one of the top 2 or 3 leading sectors all year and over the last year and a half. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. Please ask your girlfriends or yourself if you wear makeup or whatever about that. Please put in the comments. Greatly appreciate it. And I'll share what the results are on that stuff. And then we can just, again, I'm just making a list and I'm checking it twice. Of sectors that are slowing down, and does that lead to a recession? That's what I'm looking at. I want to be prepared. So anyway, hope you guys got some out of it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you did, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.